to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another special message from the Ancient Ones. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms. There's so many birds and, just wonderful things around. I really just want to give a special shout out to all the ancestors that are present, the ancient ones that are present, honoring the Most High, the one of absolute power. That's how our ancestors described the Most High Creator, the one of absolute power, the dazzling one. But those are stories for other days. And, thanks to every single person that supports us on Patreon. We appreciate, love you so much. And, today, the Ancient Ones wanted me to bring you the importance of connecting with nature at such a time as this. Because we're entering a season in time, beloveds, where no one will be able to protect you. For those of you who have had that 911, it won't work. In Africa, it's just, you'll call them and they'll tell you they don't have fuel in their emergency response car. Stories for other days. But we are entering a serious time, beloveds, where many who are in the cities, we're going into what they've called the zombie apocalypse. Like, all of this is not a joke, beloveds. This stuff is really happening. And the final gateway, because you see, they took our shrines. They've controlled all the gateways, the spiritual gateways that would give us access to our creative power to create a different reality. That's why we haven't been able to shift this current reality, because they were blocking all the physical gateways and spiritually as well. There was a battle going on, but they blocked the physical gateways, beloveds, and they still control them, and many of the mental ones as well. So that means when we say those are blocked, and they block them with ideas, like the idea of time, the idea of life and death, the idea of God and Jesus, all of these are blockages, beloveds, that create gates in your mind, walls in your mind, that block you from your own creative potential and from your own creative power and from connecting to the wider, cosmos, the wider reality, to recognizing that you are not alone and that this isn't it. This is barely it. But nature right now is the only place that you can go, because everything has been manipulated. The shrines have been manipulated. The churches are manipulated. The mosques are manipulated. So the only place that you can go that is still pure and true is nature. And that's why they're going so hard at nature. Nature is the arc of this season. Nature is what can heal you, can teach you, can bring you peace, can totally transform your life, and can protect you in these seasons and times, beloveds. Because nature is very much alive. The trees around us are very much alive. They have spirit. And that spirit communicates with other spirit. That spirit travels. Think Harry Potter and was it Lord of the Rings when the forest was moving? Yeah. Nature isn't disconnected from us. We're disconnected from nature. And nature now is battling because they're trying to destroy nature, which is the final gateway. Nature is the only gateway right now that you can go and sit and hit your enlightenment. That you can go and get your answer. That you can go and connect with the highest level beings and the highest level spirits that can start to work in your life and start to come down and even work in your community, in our reality, our collective reality. It's the only place that you can know the truth right now. Because there's so many lies within a little bit of truth. And then we're arguing about, it's like we're on a hamster wheel. That's why I keep saying the season for debating is over. test the spirits, go research what I'm saying, even feel if it resonates. If it doesn't, keep it moving. If it does, go do your own research, go deeper. Because that season for debating is over. You either know or you don't know. You either agree or you don't agree, and other people's opinion is none of your business, beloveds. Really. That's why you have to move spiritually now, so that even the messages that you're brought to and the people that you communicate with all happen on that highest level. And so you don't get snared by these lower vibing beings. But nature is our rescue right now. And there will be a season, beloveds, where you won't be able to go into nature, where they'll block access. But those who are like us, who are already here, will live and prosper. But they will try. I don't think they'll ever succeed in Eden, in Zion, in Al-Kabul, in Africa. That whole "you will own nothing." I hate that phrase, "and you'll be happy." That whole vibe. I feel like it was a psyop that was even used against our own conscious community, the global conscious community. But nature right now, beloveds, is the gateway to even going higher. So many birds just, crisscrossing. It's beautiful, beloveds. And I'm not even fully in the nature, in my final place. But learn to honor nature, beloveds. When we come back, let's take a short break. When we come back, I'll give you some tips on how do you get into nature, especially if you're stuck in a city. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to a special message from the Ancient Ones. Really, if you are still working on your awakening, or if you're just trying to figure things out, where you need to be right now, if I could give you one message, is to go back into nature and to really connect with nature, to look for all ways that you can connect and be in nature. Because nature is the final, gateway, the final frontier, the all-powerful one that this Babylon matrix and system cannot destroy. And since they've taken on nature, nature's going to fight back. And so you do really want to be on the side of nature, beloveds. You really want to be on the side of nature. Not only for your own protection, but for your own ascension and prosperity and coming into yourself and knowing yourself and creation. Nature is the only space right now in these, because they've created spaces like Kenya is a space, Nigeria is a space, and then, Europe is a space, and only certain people can enter these spaces, and only certain people can live in these spaces, etc., etc. So they've created all these spaces that have all these rules and regulations and laws, and you got to pay taxes and you got to do this. So the only space right now where you can just be you is nature. And you see, now they created these spaces, and now they're coming to collect. Now they're coming to say, if you don't honor this, if you don't honor that, you can't live in my space. You can't move in my space. You can't do business in my space. So the only space that is left where you can be you, where your children can be themselves, where you can reach your highest potential before it's too late, is nature. And I'll keep saying it, get out of the cities if you can. It may not make sense now. And if you feel like the spirit is telling you to stay in the cities, go ahead. Every man now has to make their decisions. That thing of debating is over. But if you have the chance, and I've gotten so many emails from people who have told me I moved to the furthest, I couldn't leave Australia to come back to Africa, so I moved to the furthest corner there in Australia, or, I'm in some little place in Canada. And people are making their moves, led by spirit, which is just such confirmation to me. So if you can get out of the cities, or if you can't even move to the cities, identify a place where you could go in a hurry. And you see, the scary thing is, because, I don't know when this will be released, but when I was recording it, Biden was actually getting ready to release some new laws for the unvaccinated. I also noticed in the divided states there are a lot of campsites and everything were being closed down, which was going to be the place that a lot of people were going to try and seek refuge. That's why getting out of the cities is so important. In places like, Australia, which is in full 1984 George Orwell mode, full totalitarian dictatorship. You're only allowed to be in the park for like a short period of time. I think it's an hour or something like that. It was 2 hours or something like that. Why would they control being out in nature? So if you can spend time in nature, take your children out in nature. Get that morning sunshine. Breathe that morning dew, And have nature of your own. Like, the best right now is to have your own garden. If you are blessed to have your own garden, then plant, take care of it, cultivate it. Because, trees are the only things that can even block out some of these rays that are being sent to us. Like the figama, if you know what I mean. Bring nature into your home. Trees, plants, animals, all these are, I'm telling you, animals, especially cats, but, there's also dog people out there. I've had both in my life. I was going to go into which one I prefer. Stories for the days. But bring nature into your life. Bring the natural world into your life. I know you guys have heard the stories of like when there was that great tsunami, I think in 2010. Not one animal died. And yet it took out thousands, I want to say hundreds of thousands of humans. Because the animals were able to detect and they were able to go to higher ground. It's like right now in China with all the flooding that's happening. People are tripped out because there's a tribe of elephants or a herd of elephants that is moving north. And I think they started their journey like a year ago, and it's been recorded everywhere, and they've been given like special security, and they're even putting food on. It's a beautiful story, but that should ring all kinds of alarm bells. So when you bring nature into your world, and you honor nature, then nature will give you signs. And remember, everything is living, beloveds, because one of the laws of this world is that, the law of vibration. This looks solid because it's vibrating at like the lowest level, but it's still vibrating. Nothing is solid, which means that if you reach certain alchemical levels, you can literally transform reality. And how strange that they're bringing the Matrix back. I just saw an advertisement the other day. Check out the timing of everything that's happening and know that everything that they release is trying to hijack what is coming naturally. But find your place in nature, beloveds. Find your place in nature. It's so critical. There's a reason why people hug trees. Because the spirit of that tree can take your illness or the poison in you or whatever it is. And if you were to visit that tree, you'd see like one branch had fallen off in a few days. But that's the power of nature. The river can cleanse you totally. Just taking a dip in the river can totally cleanse all your bodies, because it's not only this one we wash, but there's others that are blocking, There's several bodies before you get to this physical one that are like filters, and they need to be cleared out. But only nature has the power to do that. I mean, the water that we get is already manipulated. It's still living. You can still program it. But that's why you have to live in such like a conscious way, where you make it a habit to charge the water that you're drinking with love, with the purest of it, purest of intentions for your body, with healing vibes. Because water has memory, and water is alive, and water is connected to all water. These are some of the powers of nature. And it is nature that is bringing down Babylon. Tuko pamoja.